Let's check out this video from Fox News really quick.
It's like someone's having a blast with his opposition's meltdown. Former President Trump was jumping, or should we say pouncing, all over the Biden chaos at his rally. Watch.
The radical left Democrat Party is divided in chaos and having a full-scale breakdown, all because they can't decide which of their candidates is more unfit to be president. Sleepy, crooked Joe Biden or laughing Kamala. Joe's own party now wants him to throw in the towel and surrender the president.
Laughing Kamala is one of my favorite Trump nicknames. Laughing Kamala is fantastic. And it's not laughing Kamala, it's laughing. L-A-F-F-I-N, I assume. Laughing Kamala. Fucking hilarious.
Presidency after a single 90-minute performance. They want Crooked Joe out of the race.
So is this some foreshadowing? Trump saving some of his sharpest attacks for the vice president, Kamala Harris.
But whatever else can be said about Crooked Joe Biden, you have to give him credit for one brilliant decision, probably the smartest decision he's ever made. He picked Kamala Harris as his vice president. No, it was brilliant. Because it was an insurance policy, maybe the best insurance policy I've ever seen, Marco.
What the heck is
this? If Joe had picked someone even halfway competent, they would have bounced him from office years ago.
Trump also offering President Biden a mulligan on his debate, and he offered him this.
I'm also officially challenging Crooked Joe to an 18-hole golf match right here. I will even give Joe Biden 10 strokes aside. 10 strokes, that's a lot.
See, this right here is where politicians are so stupid. If Joe Biden would have accepted Donald Trump's, which I know Trump knew that he would not accept it, by the way, but if Joe Biden would have accepted that, that would have been the greatest TV we have ever seen. It would have been the greatest thing of all time. And it would have been the greatest thing ever for people like me, too, that do live streaming. It would have been it would have broken the internet on so many levels. It would have broken the internet on so many levels. But, of course, Biden quickly, at least the Biden administration, because Joe Biden was asleep, obviously, last night. So the Biden administration quickly answered and said no.
That means 20 strokes in case you don't play golf. I will give him 10 strokes aside, and if he wins, I will give the charity of his choice, any charity that he wants, $1 million.
And there you have it. So the Biden campaign responded with this. We'd challenged Donald Trump to create jobs, but he lost $3 million. We challenged Donald Trump to stand up to Putin, but he bent the knee to him. We challenged Donald Trump to follow the law, but he breaks it. Joe Biden doesn't have time for Donald's weird antics. He's busy leading America and defending the free world, Greg. I mean, he's
Joe, when you hear that, you just hear nobody's listening from anything coming out of the White House anymore. All they see is Biden. The only 18 holes Joe is familiar with are the ones the White House doctor makes in his arm looking for a fresh vein. Ooh. And you know what? This is Joe Biden. Don't pick a sport that counts strokes.
Holy shit, Gutfeld. Holy shit. Don't pick a sport that counts strokes.
And you know what? This is Joe Biden. Don't pick a sport that counts strokes. So, remember, the Democrats are still intending to win, and they have two advantages. One, they're against Republicans who can snatch defeat out of victory. Look at the red wave. Politics to Republicans is a part-time job. It ranks below family, friends, God, country, and NASCAR. But for Democrats, politics is personal, career, a life choice, a full-time job. It's everything to them. So like I said, the Dems are going to try to win with shenanigans, hoaxes, Russia, more accusations of Russia, and perhaps some little funny business, if you know what I mean. I'm still pushing for the TDS interventions. I would like to host it on Fox with Trump, with 3 or 4 never-Trumpers, because the only remaining obstacle are the lingering propped-up hoaxes. So Trump could sit there and actually play video and say, I never said the riot police should go in and clear protesters. I never said Nazis are fine people. And I'm not who the Democrats say I am. And that he should let these never-Trumpers pull on his face to make sure he's not Hitler in a Trump mask. And then what happens? That thing is gone.
I love that idea. I think you should host it.
It's in the works.
It's in the works. That's good to know.
It's in the works.
So one of the things driving all of this, Harold, is the number. So the Cook Political Report, which came out during our show yesterday, and we showed people that all of those states that are battlegrounds were moving towards Republicans, but also that the crosstabs show that, like, Biden's numbers with Black Americans are down to 71%, whereas he won over 90% in 2020. Hispanic now 48 to 41. That's getting back to where, like, George W. Bush was with Hispanics at the time. But this is a huge one. Young voters, 46% now. That's all that Biden has. So that is incompatible with any plausible Democratic win scenario. So what is going to happen?
So if I were, you rightly...
It's over based on where we are, but that's not where we're going to be in November. And that's what I am completely confused on. I don't fully understand. I don't fully understand what the Democrats' plan is. I don't understand where they're going with this, because the most realistic scenario here is that they're going to get Joe Biden out for Kamala. I don't. That's not a win. That's actually that's a step back. Even that's a step backwards. So what's the plan? It's either got to be Hillary Clinton, Gavin Newsom, or Big Mike. It's got to be one of those three. There's no way it's Kamala, and there's no way it's Joe Biden. That's the three options that are realistic. And if I was to give you, a power ranking for those three names, power ranking, Big Mike wins going away because Big Mike can bench press more than anybody. Hillary is number 2, and Gavin Newsom would be number 3. Those are the 3 picks that the Democrats have. But how are they going to work this? I have no idea.
Talked about those numbers, and I think when you were describing them yesterday, I don't think everybody fully understood what you were saying. Everything was going towards Republican. The things that were leaning Democrat are now likely Democrat, which means it's shifting a little bit back towards Republican. So that's a cause for concern. Before the debate, the race was very, very tight. It remains tight now, but there's some movement that former President Trump is enjoying. And the reason it is because before the debate, the number one issue on voters' minds was President Biden's age. And that has not gone away. So I'm not surprised as that you look at the crosstabs, some of that movement might be taking place. 2, President Biden should immediately accept President Trump's offer to debate him. I'd call for it right away. He needs to debate before September, because if indeed July 2 weeks ago tomorrow was a one-off, he needs to show that. He needs to go out and show that there are differences between the candidates. And he needs to show that he can make that.
He can't, Harold, and you know that. He can't debate Trump. He can't. And we all know that. Like, you're still trying to, like, this is where, like, Harold lives in his Democratic fantasy land, where he'll admit, like, certain aspects of things of, like, yeah, Trump's got a big lead and he's got a lot of momentum, but President Biden just needs to accept the debate. He's not going to accept the fucking debate. The man cannot get things done. He is not there. You know this. Jeez, man. Like, it's unbelievable.
That case over the next 4 years. Their response about the jobs, all of that should be done in a debate setting. You cannot unsee what you saw 2 weeks ago. No matter how much we try, no matter how much we say you've done over the last 4 years, no matter how much we say you've done throughout your service journey, you have to show people that you were not that person that was there 2 weeks ago. And the longer you wait to do it, the harder it's going to be, regardless of how many events you do. You said something I thought about last night, Dana, yesterday about I'm often saying and others saying if you do 3 events a day and do interviews, I'm beginning to think the longer we wait here, we're not going to get rid of this narrative. Even if he does those 3 events a day, even if he goes out and does all the interviews, because every time you see him, you think about what happened 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
and it's hard to erase that from your mind. You said something a minute ago, Jesse, about tomorrow, this press conference. All eyes will be on the president tomorrow. All eyes, not only.
Does he have a press conference tomorrow? I don't even know about that. Does Biden have a press conference set for tomorrow? I didn't even know this, so I'll have to look into that.
Eyes of Democrats and Republicans, but the most important voters in those 6 states, those independent voters, those 50 to 150,000 voters in those 4, 5, 6 states that make the difference in these campaigns.
The big boy.
And I
This is
believe
the big boy press conference. That's tomorrow. Is that the big boy? The big boy press conference. What time is the big boy press conference? I might do an emergency COBRA cast for that one.
driving more of those people away from us over the last 2 weeks than we are to us.
I feel like we're actually having a conversation that doesn't matter, actually, because I think all of these things, like he's going to have, Biden just announced he'll do an interview with Lester Holt next Monday. I feel like all of this has been overtaken by events. OBE, it's over. We all know how it's going to end up.
You mean that Biden's going to be the nominee?
Yeah, I do believe that when Democrats go to vote in November, it will not be for Joe Biden. I feel like this is just OBE, overtaken by events. What do you think?
I agree. And all the Democrats are sitting around like cowards waiting for Joe Biden to commit a gaffe. Tell him to go play golf. Tell him to do the 18 holes with Trump.
Right.
He hasn't played in a year. That will be a gaffe. He'll probably not make it out of the sand trap. We know how he has trouble walking at the beach, Harold.
He can hit a ball, though. I've seen it.
And also, I'm upset with Greg. He doesn't have to refer to the red wave and motion to me. I was just looking at the polls, and I lost money to Geraldo. It's a little bit of a sore subject. I just agree with Trump that this was a brilliant move to pick Kamala for Joe Biden as an insurance policy. No, it was a DEI deal with the radical left.
Yes, good call. Good call, Ross from Friends. Hell yes. Exactly. And I know Love Dogs just put that Kamala's a DEI hire. That's exactly what she is.
He was forced to pick someone like Kamala in order for the left to vote for him. And then he sold it as, oh, this was going to be like the bridge to the future and I'm going to hand her the baton. Do you really think that Joe Biden, who's run for president for 40 years, had any intention he wasn't going to run for re-election? He's been going for 8 years this whole time, and he's...
I like Jesse Waters, by the way. He is like Ross, though. He does look like Ross, but I like Jesse Waters.
Still thinks he is. And I do like how this focus on Kamala is coming in. She's a California socialist. That's how Donald Trump described her. He said she's a Bernie bro. She's a Green New Dealio lady who's totally more radical than Joe Biden, and called her a co-conspirator with all of these people like Schumer and Pelosi that have defrauded the American people and hid Joe Biden's condition from voters. And that's criminal.
And Judge, they just got subpoenaed.
Let's hear from Judge.
Three senior staffers at the White House just got subpoenaed to come in.
I have not heard this portion of the show. I haven't heard it from the part where Dana Perino said that, you know, the Democrats won't vote for Biden. So I'm sure Judge Janine's going to be dropping some fire.
In front of Comer's committee because they're saying, did you cover this up? Because they're not going to let it go.
Yes, they subpoenaed First Lady Jill Biden's top aide, Anthony Brunel, Deputy Chief of Staff Ann Tomasini, and Senior Advisor Ashley Williams. And all three are low profile, but very influential inside the White House. But, you know, it's kind of interesting that, you know, first of all, I want to talk about the golf thing. I think that's hysterical. They said that Joe Biden, who called for the golf game, I think it was in March, he can't do this. He just doesn't have the time because he's defending the free world. Really? Between 10 and 4? I mean, you know, and then they say, well, you know, there's no way. He gets up, he says, I have a 6 handicap. Within 30 seconds, he forgot he had a 6. He said he had an 8 handicap. I mean, it's so pathetic. The whole thing is pathetic. But you have to give it to Trump. I mean, where does he want to do this? At Doral, at the Blue Monster. Of course he wants to do it there. Good for him. But you know what? As the Democrats say, you know, they're saying that let Joe Biden make his case. Make what case? He's not going to get any better. Do you think he's going to have fewer senior moments going forward? Do you think anyone is going to unsee that debate that they've already seen? He's almost certain to make more errors and more mistakes and more screw-ups. So I really think, and you brought up something interesting, Jesse, and that's DEI. The Democrats have been hoisted on their own DEI petard. They wanted DEI. They said it's got to be about equity and all this other stuff that has messed up corporations, messed up the economy, messed up the universities, made them less safe for a lot of kids. And now what they're saying is, you know, we can't pass Kamala. You can't win with Kamala. You know you're not going to win. They know they can't win. And they're in a catch-22. They can't do anything about this. And so, you know, the odds of winning continue to soar in New York. Joe Biden won New York by 23 points in 2020. New York now, Manhattan, the Democrat borough president, Mark Levine, said we're leaning Republican. Yeah. And this is in Manhattan. So, you know what?
Dude, if Trump wins New York, God, that will be the most insane thing ever if Trump wins New York. It really will be crazy.
They want a DEI. You know what? Take it to the bank, because we're going to go to the polls and hopefully without any problem get Donald Trump elected.
Let me just add one other thing, because David Plouffe on his podcast that he does with Kellyanne Conway today said, I actually think that a switch carries risk, but I believe at this point Kamala Harris gives you a better chance to win if you are a Democrat.
No,
would she do as well with older seniors in Wisconsin? Probably not, but would she do better putting together the Democratic coalition? And Kellyanne said, you mean the Obama coalition? And I think that's what we just came full circle, and it was a beautiful thing.
No, there is no way. There is no. Here's. You might have better polling data right now for Kamala Harris, and the reason is because most Americans have not heard her talk. People on social media have heard her, and we meme on her, and we roast her because she's objectively one of the stupidest human beings that I've ever seen in any powerful position ever. Like, Kamala Harris is so dumb, she makes George W. Bush look smart. She is incredibly dumb. And the masses, the normies out there just haven't heard that. It's almost like the Joe Biden thing. For some reason, the normies and the masses just didn't understand how deranged and the dementia-ridden Joe Biden was until the debate. Put him on the national stage, put him in front of 50, 60, 70 million people, and now suddenly it's all falling apart. Well, it's not like that was the first time Joe Biden's had problems. He's been having problems for over 4 years. But the normies finally saw it. When the normies see Kamala and hear her and watch her laughing when she's trying to tell a serious story, or when she's trying to talk to people and she talks like she's talking to kindergartners, she will be horrible. She is so stupid.
Speaking of switch, I have some advice for the Democrats. Why not, when Joe returns from the press conference, drive him to an identical White House? He'll be napping in the car. You drive him up there. He won't know. Get in. Just set it up.
And there's Hunter.
There's Hunter. Everybody's in there. and just play along. He won't know the difference. And then in 6 months, it won't matter.
Yeah, but don't you remember when they set up the whole press
that was
room for Joe Biden?
Yes.
So he could read a teleprompter when it looked like he wasn't reading one. It was like the Truman Show.
That's a good point. All right.
It is. This is wild times we're in, man. I can't believe that the Democrats have put themselves in this position, but yet here we are.